A match between one of the best Street Fighter players and a famous rapper take place right before the official release of Street Fighter V, letting people get a glimpse of what the game is like. As a non-fighting game player, this seems like a normal match, but to the people that play fighting games, there is something off. A man who doesn't really need an introduction, but Daigo is one of the best Street Fighter players, and he's known for famously being able to react to jump-ins and land DPs consistently, is now missing half the jump-ins that Lupe is going for. One could brush this one off as it's a new game and the mechanics are different, but then you just look at what Lupe is doing and you can clearly see mistakes are being made left and right with little punishment from the person who has been playing fighting games for 2 decades. As the match comes down to the wire, Lupe lands the finishing blow of the last set, and he just sits there, waiting.
He tried the uppercut! It didn't come out! I don't think any gentleman knows what happened!
It's not until people tell him that he won that he then pops off.
On that return ticket!
You're the best,
A
Lupe!
return ticket!
A lot of people think that this was Daigo sandbagging or letting Lupe win. While it may be a big marketing stunt by Capcom to create more buzz around the game, you can't deny that Lupe genuinely looked like he was having a good time. But what if you did this with your friends or family? Should you let others win? There are many reasons why someone would let another person win.
It's over, Cell. You win.
Most obvious ones would be if you're playing against a person that is new to the game or a small child, as winning against either of these people probably wouldn't be that satisfying for you after all. How much fun can you have hitting a human training dummy? Well, if you're Justin Wong, probably a lot.
Time to learn! You gonna learn today! You gonna learn today!
No, you're not. You're using a cheat mode.
But for them, it could be a wave of joy while playing a new game, and winning makes it feel that much better.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
So why not just take the L and let them have their fun? Well, it may not seem like it, but by letting them win, they might discover what you're trying to do. And if they know you're intentionally let them win, is it really a win in their mind?
You allowed me to believe that I could beat you!
Yeah, that's part true.
Prideless! Do you not realize my humiliation?
It can also promote bad habits for the player if you're taking it easy on them, thinking they are doing a good option when it's actually a bad one. Some would consider the act of letting another person win as patronizing and disrespectful, while also devaluing the effort and achievement of earning a victory.
Okay, this is what I want you to do. He's struggling to get a game. But I paused the game purposely, so give him a point. Okay? Give him a point.
My God.
You know what I'm saying? This is my charity. Give him a point.
Imagine winning one of the best people you know, and then later realizing that your success was just handed to you, rather than earned. It devalues the sense of accomplishments and reduces the motivation to improve. While this might seem a bit extreme in a non-competitive environment, it still exists in games that involve a lot of luck, such as board games and even the friendship ruiner, Mario Party. With most of the mini-games coming down to complete luck, yet people are invested in the game, or else it wouldn't get its recognition that it has. However, there are some potential benefits to letting people win, especially if you want them to continue playing the game, but I think we can all agree that winning feels better than losing in most cases. That innate feeling of being better than someone else just in the moment can boost one's confidence, ego, and encourage them to improve, potentially making them play the game again. To some, it may also be mentally exhausting to be a tryhard. The emotional swings you get while being put in the competitive mindset can make you feel great when winning, but also feel absolutely awful when losing. So removing the competitiveness from it can be a way to just relax and not care about the results. It also ties in with building a relationship with that person by letting them enjoy the game and supporting them, which can lead into a good teaching opportunity and talk about strategy and technique in the game, which I guess shows some sort of sportsmanship and humility. Last but not least, you can feel good about yourself by showing empathy and not destroying their soul by crushing them.
Want to play again?
No, I think I'm good.
Now, one could argue that winning isn't everything, and it's about the people you are playing with that matter. And while I do agree winning isn't everything, I think a lot of people can enjoy playing a game for what it is, and it's about being able to perform cool ideas within the game that can give off that satisfaction. You don't need a win to enjoy a game, but the goal is still winning. Which, if this was about people you are playing with, you could have literally done anything else. The goal isn't simply to be playing with friends. It was Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, or for God's sake Mario Party that they chose to do with their friends. But I think the big thing here is trying to win, so you're not wasting other people's time that are all playing that game. But letting others win in actual competitions can lead into other territories.
I'm trying to be fair, but that was fairly mediocre.
Like sandbagging. Sandbagging is when someone stops trying and intentionally plays worse against the other player. Usually it's to hide one's true potential, but it kind of formed a new meaning when it came to gaming. The origin, I think, is about cars racing and something to do with sandbags slowing them down in qualifiers and then taking the sandbags out, and then all of a sudden they are the fastest car on the track. But we aren't playing Forza here. Now, what might be the most problematic case for sandbagging is during official tournaments, where there's actually money on the line and a lot of people watching. And of course, that people are trying their hardest to win, and while it might not matter if you aren't a top player, since it would be hard to judge if you are performing poorly or not without notoriety. But being a top player and purposely performing worse can seem like a big smack in the face to everyone else, but I guess perhaps it brings in drama. A good example of a boring set would be when Isaiah versus Captain Jack in Super Smash Bros. Melee, where at the time Isaiah was known to be one of the best players, and during this set it just seemed like he didn't care. I don't know about you, but this just seems like it's wasting everyone's time. The opponent, the commentators, the spectators, everyone. If you compare this to another set with both of these players, it was way more exciting. Now, this isn't exactly Isaiah's fault, as he was told by Vans to come into the venue to do this exhibition match. Sometimes sandbagging isn't always one-sided though. Back in 2018, a Smash tournament would feature two players. Michael, who plays Jigglypuff, and Bananas, an Ice Climbers player, would compete against each other. Michael is a player who is known for not engaging and would run the clock timer. The first game resulted in Michael winning by running the clock, in fact. However, Bananas had a new strategy that would make it so Michael can't win. Bananas purposely did not engage so that a TO would either force them to engage or DQ them both. And since Michael is winning, it puts the ball in his court. Either fight me or we both lose. And somehow, this worked. But unfortunately, not exactly in his favor, since Michael ended up winning the set anyways. If you want to know more about this set and about Melee in general, Melee Stats made a great video on this and I highly recommend watching it. Interestingly enough, you can find sandbagging outside of the FGC or Smash, and into what is now one of the biggest competitive games right now, League of Legends. A game where there is over 140 million active players, and crazy enough, there was sandbagging at one of the biggest tournaments back in 2012. The game had only been out for 3 years at this point, and while it certainly wasn't as big as it is now, it was growing at a rapid pace. During grand finals of the MLG Pro Circuit, Team Curse and Dignitas were up against each other. Now, in League of Legends, there are 3 lanes and 1 jungle area. Usually you would have one person go top, one person go mid, one person in the jungle, and 2 people go bottom. But something strange happened in this match. Even from the champion select screen, something was off. Usually one champion from each team would have Smite as one of their spells to go into the jungle. Yet, there was no Smite on both teams. Something also strange about this was that Curse had 280 carries. Was this some new meta that they were going to bust out in grand finals? Is there something these teams know about that others didn't? Well, the game started and all the champions went mid. In grand finals, both teams agreed to play what is known as ARAM, all random, all mid. A popular custom game type where everyone randomly selects the champions and goes middle. Except clearly they picked these characters for this type of game. The commentators didn't really know what to think of this, except one of them actually was excited about this happening.
This is my level of playing right now.
I happened to be watching this live back then, and I thought it was one of the coolest things to happen in this game. Grand finals to have both teams have a little bit of fun and do a different variant of the usual game? Sweet. However, sandbagging can lead into dangerous territory. If you're this high up in the bracket and you're pulling off this weird, goofy thing that's supposed to be for fun, there must be something off.
Real shit. I'm about ready to call collusion on this shit.
Collusion. A secret agreement between two rivals that attempt to disrupt the competition. I mean, since you're both in the money and are willing to split it 50-50, why not have a little bit of fun? And it just so happened that this was the case in Grand Finals. Both Dignitas and Curse were going to share the prize money, which may have been the reason why they decided to play an ARAM game in Grand Finals. So, what happens when collusion happens? Well, both teams are disqualified, and now third place gets first place prize, and fourth place gets second place prize, and fifth and sixth share third place prize. And after this event, League has not had another match like this as far as I know. Collusion is a lot easier to tell if both parties or players just mess around during Grand Finals. If both of you are getting the same amount of money, why bother stressing out when you can just bathe in your shared victory with your opponent? This is what happened when two brothers made it into Grand Finals in Blaze Blue at Frosty Faustin 6 in 2013, where they would try and taunt each other to death. And I'm gonna be honest here, when I first watched this, it kind of just looked like a normal fighting game match. But things escalated real quick, and the TO told them to play a real match and ended up removing the pot bonus for them.
Straight up, I will pull the motherfucking pot bonus. I will fucking do it. Do not fucking try me. Play a fucking real match or fucking lose all your money to fucking third place. Do not fucking collude on my fucking tournament.
By the end of the set, they did say they were just messing around, saying they did want to just taunt each other to death, but one of them didn't bind the taunt button. Which I understand why the TO would get mad, as they have sponsors on the line and want people to take this seriously. And not only for the sponsors though, but for the people watching. Nothing is worse than seeing two top players get to Grand Finals just for them not to even try. However, don't mistake this for choosing a lower tier character in Grand Finals. There was a set in Melee where Armada would switch from Peach to Young Link to counter H-Box's Jigglypuff. Now, Young Link is known for being a bad character, but Armada had a secret plan to use Young Link's mobility and his projectiles to keep H-Box away. And this was at the biggest fighting game event, EVO. And while it didn't end up working out for Armada, it was still really cool to see this switch. So let's go back to the question. Should you let others win? There likely isn't a correct answer to this, and it will vary from person to person. Some people want to experience a person's full potential, while others could enjoy the satisfaction of winning a game regardless if the person was trying or not. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all for this, but if you wanted my opinion on it, it would be in slight favor of trying to win. But even I found myself at times at least putting a handicap on myself, but still trying to win, which then falls into a gray area. As a board game boy once said, when playing a game, the goal is to win, but it is the goal that is important, not the winning. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this, or if there's any other sets that feature sandbagging or letting people win. I'd be interested to watch them. So, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.